Hey, welcome everyone. Jesse Dale here with Macro Millionaire, and we have Solstice Macros in the house. Ian Schmidt, the owner, in the house, and he's basically going to just talk about why he became a nutrition coach. And if you're out there, you're maybe looking to pick up a nutrition coach, or you're like, what is this nutrition coaching thing all about? What can I expect? Then this is the interview for you. So Ian, thanks for joining us today, man. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Jesse.
Yeah. So nutrition coaching, and I know that. Well, first of all, tell kind of the listeners or the viewers a little bit about some of your background, because I know how extensive your background is, but they may not.
Background is kind of varied, but I've been a personal trainer for right around 27 years. I got my first personal training certificate back in 1993 when I was in through college. Graduated college with a degree in exercise and health science with this dual specialization in sports medicine and orthopedic bracing. Went on from that to be both personal trainer at multiple gyms and a sports medicine clinician working with high-end athletes, all the way down through high school athletes and then workers' comp. So I was working with injuries and recovery and basically rehabilitation for all those years, which of course nutrition is all a big part of, getting people back to work or back to play.
All right.
From there, worked in that industry for quite a long time, and then just recently kind of got out of it full-time professionally, but I've been still working in the gyms and doing a couple of your gyms and a couple other ones as a personal trainer and consultant. So.
Awesome. So it kind of just made sense to you because you've always been in the health and fitness space, a little bit more on the clinical side as well. It just kind of made sense to add a nutritional counseling leg to your business.
Well, that and, just becoming a coach is just one of those things where it's helping people out where, I didn't have anyone to guide me. And I come from a family that's very overweight. A lot of them are very overweight, have a lot of health issues, diabetes, heart conditions, so on and so forth, all the way up through, not Alzheimer's, but Parkinson's.
Yeah.
A lot of family members had health issues. I didn't have anyone to guide me except for they taught me what they knew, which was, basically eat junk.
Right.
Yeah, I hate to say it that way, but it's the way it is. And working from that through, I played back from the time I was 4, soccer all through semi-pro, plus mixed martial arts, rugby, curling, a few others. I was always an athlete, and coming back from that and learning how to get my body to recover from all the damage I did, and keep myself healthy and able to play. That kind of all tied together as well. And again, one more other thing is, back in 2001, I was diagnosed with lupus, which is a massive autoimmune disease. You can look it up; it's kind of fun. But I went from being a college athlete, college level, almost semi-pro level, under 4-minute, 25-second mile type thing, all the way down to 252 pounds.
Wow!
And of course, in a span of about a year. Recovering from that a few years later, I didn't have anyone to guide me except for what I'd been through in school. And in school, what we know is that they don't teach you a whole lot.
Right.
And I went to a couple of doctors. Doctors' advice was, cut your calories. They didn't really tell me that, so I had to learn how to eat.
Right.
So.
It's you hit the nail right on the head, Ian. It's my dad. He's in an Alzheimer's care facility right now. And when I look at the diet that they're feeding him, it's just, it's the government, it's high carb, moderate fat, low protein. And it's just like, I just want to face palm my face every time I walk through there,
It hurts to look at it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So kind of how is Solstice Macros kind of cleaning it up? How are you guys kind of, if I'm like talking about my dad, if he had sound mind and to come to you, how would you be different in helping him out? Or if I'm listening to this and I'm like, man, you're right, nutrition is broke in this country. How are you helping people sort that out?
Well, nutrition is broke because we just don't know what we're eating. That's the biggest part. We really just don't know what we're eating. I mean, all the processed foods and mislabeling and so on and so forth. A lot of diet is just learning a bit about what you're putting in your body. Mm-hmm. And that goes back to, that's why macros work, is because you can pretty much eat anything as long as you stay within certain parameters. And as long as you know what you're putting in your body, that whole computer programming thing, GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. If you know what you're putting in, you can expect what you're going to get out.
Right.
And that's typically the way you look at it this way. It's not a diet. It's just making sure it's a lifestyle change as to making sure you know what kind of fuel you're putting in your body.
So what I'm hearing is that you're not necessarily like, hey, here's your meal plan, or just dishing stuff out. Although I'm sure you offer those things, but it's more like you're educating. You're more of like a teacher. It sounds like.
Right. I personally believe more in the lifestyle than I do in actually meal plans. Now, you can do meal plans. We do for some of the higher end athletics, people who are really have a really big goal set in a certain time frame.
Right.
Look at it that way. For people who are looking to get healthy, people are looking to look themselves in the mirror, be happy with what they see or happier with what they see, feel better, mentally and physically. It's not a diet. It's more of a let's fit this into what I can do, my time frames, what I like to eat, and we make it work. Whether it's through changing times that you eat through either intermittent fasting or fasting protocols, or just setting parameters on how much you're putting in at certain times.
Yeah, I love it. So you're kind of finding the right tools to help clients see success nutritionally depending on their lifestyle.
Correct. And from what I do for a daytime job, that's when I follow the same guidelines myself. I travel for a living. I work,
That's an understatement.
I have this thing too. I work somewhere between 40 and 90 hours a week on average, depending on what day it is and whatever time. My day could start at 2 a.m. My day could start at 2 p.m. We don't know some days. And I'm usually in a different city or a different state every week, eating out of hotels and eating out of fast food if that's the only thing open at 3 a.m. or eating out the hotel bars. And through following the same advice we give out, I was able to keep the waist down even through the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
So
who would you say, Ian, who would be like your perfect client? Who do you feel like you could help the most?
I kind of look at like 3 different segments, really and truly. I work with 3 big groups of people. First one is the busy ones.
Mm-hmm.
Moms, dads, 3 kids. I don't have the time. You be able to teach them how to fit this type of lifestyle into their lifestyle, however it works. Because anybody can lose the weight or gain the weight if they want to, depending on how, as long as they put their mind to it, and as long as they stick to what they're being taught. Second, I love working with athletes, especially people recovering from injuries. Again, that's part of the past. Getting people back to where they need to be, or back to where they were prior to whatever happened.
Sure.
And then the third, I love working with people who are currently in that phase of they've been active, but they want to increase. They have a specific goal in mind, like say, going back to the sports therapy days. I started off, I was 250 pounds. I'm now down to 225. I need to drop another 40 pounds for something. Whether it's I want to run a marathon, I want to, I want to do this. I want to look good in a bikini for the summer. Whatever that might be. But the first 2 are the ones I usually work with. The 4th group, I guess you could say 4th, it goes along with that 3rd group, is the people that I work with a lot of people that do have like the autoimmune or the arthritic or the rheumatoid or the autoimmune type diseases, because I do understand that because I go through it every day.
Yeah.
And diet is a massive part of keeping yourself rolling with one of those. And just between myself, I have lupus. My fiance has Lyme. We deal with the inflammatory effects of diet all the time. I've worked with a lot of people that have the same fibromyalgia type symptoms and so forth. And just getting the diet right is amazing what difference it can make. It doesn't take away from the meds. It doesn't cure. Right. But the difference it can make in your daily activity level is amazing.
Wow. So your quality of life.
Correct.
Wow.
Quality of life, if you can go from 15 bad days a month down to 2, you still have those 2 bad days because nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
Those are going to happen. But if you can even drop off half the bad days a month, what you go through with joints, what you go through with lungs, what you go through with everything else, just that lifestyle change that you can see the time it gives you back to your kids and to your family, and the time it gives you back to do the things that you want to do. Just a mental break is a huge difference.
Yeah. Wow. So Ian, because I think there's a huge, in that fourth group, I think there's a huge market for that, because most coaches, well, they're not living it like you are, but also they just don't have the education because they would never had to live with it. So I think there's a huge market for that fourth group. How do I get a hold of you if I'm in any of those groups, or I want to hire, Solstice Macros, or have you as my coach? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
3 ways, easy. You can either email me, text me, or go to the Macro Missionary site to find the coach. Send me a message.
Okay. All right.
Easiest way to say it, you can reach me at my phone number. My text phone number is 317-690-1376. Email is Ian, spelled IAN, Schmidt, SCHMIDT, .LTD @gmail.com. Website is still under construction. That would change eventually. And or you can go to macromissionary.com under Find a Coach, and my profile is right there. You can contact me through that as well.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, Ian, like I say, I think there's an absolute huge market for that last group that you mentioned. So if you're listening to this right now and you're like, wow, I got to link up with this guy, definitely take a look at him. You can contact him in any of the 3 ways that he just mentioned. And Ian, I really appreciate your time this afternoon, man. I know how busy you are, and I appreciate you letting us kind of pick your brains a little bit.
Oh, thanks, Jesse. Anytime you have any questions about any of that stuff, let me know. Of course, you know that. And we'll keep going on as we go.
All right. Perfect. Thank you for joining us today, everyone.
And thanks, everyone.